Crying? There's no crying in baseball.
I don't care about baseball.
We're not playing baseball.
Well, you remember that.
Oh, yeah.
I don't.
For the love of the game? No. What was it? It was the Rosie O'Donnell and Tom Hanks one?
And Madonna. Yeah. League of Their Own.
League of Their Own. Yes, you got it.
Yes, there's no crying in baseball. There's no crying in lawyering. There's no crying in lawyering.
Oh, I think there's crying in lawyering.
Let me tell you.
Okay.
All right, so a lot of this also has to do with the diversity in our legal profession. When I came into this world, there was not supposed to be any crying. In fact, the thought of any lawyer crying was associated with these adjectives: shameful, humiliation, pathetic, weakness, unprofessional. I think I covered most of them. And if you were caught crying, you risked getting kicked off of a case, getting kicked out of court. You risked a lot. You risked a mistrial. It was like hard and fast. There is no such thing as crying. And especially for a female. Because, we are the weaker sex.
Of course.
We also have hormonal issues that cause us to be weepy and are obviously, again, pathetic. So when I went into becoming a lawyer, there was no way I was going to cry. Ever. And plus I was an insurance defense lawyer. So
you didn't really have any reason to cry.
Unless I was, failed or did something wrong, right? And I've talked about some of these stories before, but one of them was when I was in trial. Well, I wasn't in trial. I was in a court hearing. We used to have to argue every single motion. And I was a brand new attorney, and the senior associate said, "Here, take this. You just got to go present it to the court." I told you this story before. And the court reamed me. I hadn't even done anything, but I was set up to go in there so the other attorneys wouldn't get reamed. I was going to take the fall. They didn't prepare me. I got reamed, and I knew I couldn't cry. I walked out that door, and I started crying. And that's when the plaintiff lawyer walked me out and was very kind, and I would never forget that, right? But I can remember being in there and saying, yeah, it wasn't even an option that I was going to cry. So that's a starting place for me of to cry, not to cry, and when. And so I felt bad that I even cried when I left the courtroom, but at least I got out of the courtroom. And so that was what my plan used to be, was I'm not going to cry until I get out of that courtroom, until I get into the hall, until I will never cry in front of anybody. And I kept that religiously for many years. How did I do that? How do you do that? The only way that you can do that is basically to separate your emotion completely from what you're doing. And because I internally, as Mo knows, segmented, compartmentalized person, I could do it. You have to suppress your emotion. You have to ignore the knocking of, I want to cry, I want to cry. You have to, there's a physiological response. You're going to flush, your heart's going to rate. You suppress that and you go. And the way that I did that was my innate ability to compartmentalize. I had, a mother who was pretty abusive, being untreated bipolar, and I would just sit there, and I was practiced in having to listen to that. Now, I would argue more with her. You can't do that. But I would be damned if I would show her weakness, and I viewed crying as a weakness that I could control. And because of that long pattern of being able to control that, I could control it in court. But it does something to you when you do that. And I changed as a plaintiff lawyer, which we can talk about later. But when you do that, you remove your humanity from the equation. I removed my humanity from the equation. And I was required to. And that's what I did, without question, for years and years and years. Many people still do that. That's the course of how they practice. They think, oh, it's unprofessional, whatever. But And that's not the only, I mean, many times I wanted to cry and I wouldn't, even now, but it's very different because I have outlets and I do it in different ways. But then it was pure, the curtain comes down, the severing of emotion. You are there, you articulate, you are not off the mission, you just keep going. And, you know, I channeled my grandfather. Sounds bizarre. I called it my calm yoga-like facade. And that I got from my grandfather, Tuck Fung, who my memories as a little child was just a very, and he was, I think he's probably kind, he just had no emotion on his face. It was stone face. He had a very unemotional face. And that's how I remembered him, was I don't remember him crying. I mean, not crying, but laughing and giggling. I just remember him being very stony face, like you couldn't read. Like when you play poker, people would call it a poker face, but it was my grandpa Gong Gong's face that I would mirror, and which I can still mirror to this day. It's a deadening, it's a mask, and you go.
Mike?
You go first.
I mean, crying is a emotion, and you don't suspend all emotions.
Crying's a reaction to an emotion.
Emotion, like sadness, grief.
Yeah.
And like it's a
physical
it's a physical
reaction.
Response. So laughter is a physical response. Raising your voice is a physical response to an emotion. I don't know. It's one of the responses that is not valued by the profession. That's what it is. It's just not valued.
Isn't it also, there's a bit of instinctual there. There's a bit of an involuntariness to it. Like raising your voice, that's pretty voluntary. But crying is not I want to cry now, I'm going to. Although people can do that. I can actually do that. Actors can do that. You channel, you think, and then you do it. You can direct direction. But isn't there also just, there's something happens, it's overwhelming, and your response is you want to physiologically cry.
Yeah, but going back, it's just that it's not something that is valued. Because if it was valued, it would be welcomed in the courtroom. They would say, hey, that's okay. But I think that what you're talking about is that.
Well, wait. You say it's not valued.
Yeah.
But isn't it more than not being valued? Isn't it something that's used to denigrate another human being in a certain situation if they cry?
By some, but not all. I mean,
but
it's
go
situational.
into that. Like, isn't a person? I mean, you call people crybabies. You say people are weak. I mean, isn't that taught even in the schoolyard?
Well, I mean, when the opening is that there's no crying in baseball, that was used to denigrate. Like, hey, stop crying.
Oh, well, that went right over my head because
everybody.
I didn't know that.
That's what Karen was talking about. That's everything. That's what crying's looked at pretty much across the board, in my opinion. Now, if you look at the other side of it, people say that crying is good, crying's a release. Yeah. It's, a positive thing. But it's looked at as a weakness and always has been.
It makes people uncomfortable, too.
Well, yeah, nobody likes to be around someone that's crying.
And why is that?
But the witnesses cry.
Because you think they're weak.
The witnesses cry and the jurors connect with them.
Not always. The witnesses, I used to think that having a client that cried was actually a good thing. The opposite is true.
But it depends on the circumstances.
Almost never.
When you're talking about somebody talking about losing a child and they're talking about it on the stand and they're moved to tears, the jury is not going to be like, come on.
That's not true. There's a difference between having a reticent reaction where the crying seeps out, that's what the jury loves, versus unable to do anything but cry when your testimony, which a jury doesn't like.
Well, that's different. If you're somebody who's like blubbering and like it's hard to comprehend what you're saying.
Sometimes it's very hard. If you lose a child, you will incoherently cry because you're so grief-stricken. But they will actually think like, wow, can't they get it together to even just testify? Or they're overdoing it.
Yeah.
Or it's been so long by this time, they should be more over it. Like, people are critical of other people. The favorite witness, the favorite plaintiff, take it from me, the favorite plaintiff is a stoic plaintiff that is brought almost to tears, but the tears don't come out. You can hear the shaking in the voice. There's that loss of composure, and then they regain it. The jury loves that person, loves them.
I guess I'm trying to think about. I think about movies, and probably like the most powerful scene. Do you remember Paul Newman's The Verdict? It's a great old movie about a lawyer who has
alcoholism.
He has ruined his career and is sort of like chasing cases to try to, and he has this opportunity to like try a case. And in this closing argument, he is making the case for his client, and he is moved to tears, but he is really talking about his own life. And you see, and then I remember what you're describing, like Newman is like stoic and just a quiet presence. So yeah, there is like,
that is the most admirable. If you could clone that, that is the, and it's hard because a real person, right, that is grief-stricken, will be, cannot go back and give you, which is you want to talk to them about what it was like back then, what happened. You have to go back and bring them into the trauma. They're going to be totally traumatized, and yet you don't want them crying the whole time. You can't have that happen. You have to work really hard with clients that can't stop crying. I learned it the hard way. People don't even believe it. It's like, what are you talking about? Like, how do you fake cry unless you're an actor? But they think it's, I just already told you what they think. They want that stoic person that's almost brought to tears but doesn't lose it out of respect for the jury.
But
I've heard them. We've heard them. We heard them on Summer Taylor when they were so grateful that we didn't show them the terrible moment of her getting impacted because they felt that we were wanted to manipulate their emotions otherwise. And the fact that we didn't do that, they were grateful for it. They feel the same way with a crying, an overly crying plaintiff or witness.
Well, maybe there's value to being stoic. Maybe.
Well, apparently,
right?
According to Karen.
Maybe it's just like it's situational. Like it's not.
It's whack, you guys. It's whack.
I mean, maybe
why
it's
should
good.
you be penalized for crying?
Not penalized, but like
they'll penalize you.
I don't know about penalized, but like.
Well, if a jury's not going to pay attention to their testimony because they were crying, that's penalized.
What? Well,
doesn't that speak to like them feeling uncomfortable? Oh my God, I'm watching somebody cry. This is really
that's exactly what it is. I'm telling you, the reason that works is because once the tears start, everybody on the jury goes, Jesus, I don't want to be here.
It makes them so uncomfortable.
Well, because they can't like do what instincts tell them is go up to them and give them a hug.
They can't, and most people wouldn't want to.
And they're just
on the jury.
That's true.
So now, if your own client who's been traumatized or a witness who's seen it is traumatized, and the jury has those actions, imagine what it's like for the lawyer.
Oh yeah.
Okay. Now the lawyer is viewed as someone that can manipulate. Yeah. Right. So you got a manipulative lawyer. In my case, I am highly aware that they're always watching me. Yeah. Always watching me. Especially as plaintiff often sits closest to the jury. And we'll take the ride the deck case. The most excruciating trial I've ever done damage-wise because there were 50 frickin' plaintiffs. And we had to put all of them up over a period of 4 months. And some of them just cried. One of them collapsed. One of them got 3 words out and we had to take a break and they tried to recoup in the hall. She flew all the way from Japan. And then flew all the way back. She didn't want to even be in Seattle. People so traumatized. And I'm sitting there, and I can't cry. But I did a couple times. And because it was so overwhelming. And what did I have to do? I had to hide it from the jury. So normally, here's my technique. Okay. My eyes will glisten. That's how I cry. I can almost always, 9 out of 10 times, will have that tear and it will not drop. 9 out of 10 times, I'm confident that it's okay for me. I crossed the line. I'm different than when I was a defense lawyer and I just had that guardrail up. As a plaintiff lawyer, I have become much more holistic in how I do things, right? Mo knows this. I will glisten, and then when I'm done with the test, I will come down. Normally, I stick my head under the desk, or I'll turn away, and I'll like go like that and release the teardrop, and then I will just go cry later if I really need to. But there's still a version of that because I would be, why are you laughing? This is really serious.
Well, because your batting average is like not 9 out of 10.
It is 9 out of 10.
No, because the last 2 trials I've been in with you, the tears have come down.
Well,
There's not been a glistening and the stop. There's been a glisten, and then there's been a glisten, and then the glisten, and then the drip,
Then a
drip,
trail
drip, drip,
of
drip,
liquid
drip,
down the side of her face.
So your batting average is plummeted to like 2 out of 10.
Okay, how much do I cry?
You cry a lot.
No, be real.
I'm being real.
How many tears come down?
I mean, I see like tears come down, and I see it all the time. I don't know what you're talking about. You were in a different generation of non-crying.
That's the truth.
I've been with you.
Because I was taught not to cry.
Yeah.
You know, as a male growing up in the 1970s, I was told
no,
crying was
absolutely
not strong.
not.
The jury did not see
Especially by
it.
your dad.
What?
Especially by your dad.
Yeah, no, my dad didn't believe in crying.
I mean, the jury didn't see it, but I saw it.
Wait.
It's like a 9 out of 10.
But that's what I just told you. 9 out of 10, not 9 out of 10, 9 out of 10 times, I can make it. It will glisten. It will do it. The jury will not see it.
But Mo sees it.
Because I turn my head or I stick it under the desk or I dab it, but I do it out. The jury cannot see it.
And
this is true. I'm not saying I don't cry.
I know,
I'm
but
saying the jury will not see it.
yes, the jury will not see it
9 out of
because
10.
I kind of disagree with that. Depends on how much the jury's watching you. But if I was watching, I'd know you were crying. If you did
But
that.
you know me.
No, but I'm saying if anybody did it.
Yeah.
If I saw an attorney duck down under their under the desk and move their hands, I'd know they were crying.
Okay, but what do you know also? You know that the attorney is not exposing you to them crying.
No, I know they're trying to hide it, but that's
So
just as bad.
that is not.
If I'm on a jury and I see that, then I know that they're
But that is
faking
not.
something.
Like, even if you were a defense lawyer that said, objection, Your Honor, the plaintiff is, counsel is crying, which that has never happened to me, but I know that has happened to other people, right? The plaintiff lawyer is crying and they bring an objection, which, okay. Has not happened to me because so they would have to say,
objection, they're crying.
objection, Your Honor.
There's no crying.
She's crying, but making sure the jury can't see that she's crying. But we think that we know that the jury thinks that she's crying. Like, so I know that it's safe for me. No one's going to make that objection because it's stupid, right? No one's going to make that. The jury knows she's crying even though she's turning away because I think they think that no one will say something that stupid. But here's the deal.
What's the deal?
As a young lawyer, I would never have cried, not only because of the lessons like you talked about, Mike and Mo, because I would have felt like a failure to my gender and my race. I would have felt like, because I already feel so different in those forums, so unexpected. Like, this is a lawyer with a high voice in here who's only 5'3", and not norm, as John Henry Brown called me, not American, un-American. He used the words un-American. So I feel like I owe it, not just to myself, but my whole gender, to elevate the trial practice of law. I do not want that to happen. Now, fast forward as to a senior lawyer in her 60s, I don't care. I don't care. Now, I'm not going to cry out of respect to the jury that they can see it, but I don't have all those boundaries. And in fact, that's why people are fine with me in trial.
Well,
how much was I blubbering?
You cry a lot.
Because I care.
Well, I don't think it's a bad thing, but like this idea, you were like 9 out of 10. I hold the
do.
dribble here. No,
all I've done.
It's like it's not Niagara Falls.
No.
It's like it's like
A couple tears.
a couple. It's like a soft rain.
A drizzle.
In a drizzling.
Drizzling from the eyes.
Drizzling from the eyes, like a rainforest drizzle, like up in Maui, down the mountains. I see it. I go, oh, that's
Okay,
nice.
have you not cried in trial?
I don't cry.
There you go. Who's more emotional, me or Mo?
Mo.
And he doesn't cry.
I'd be surprised.
I mean-
I wouldn't be surprised if you told me that Mo was crying in trial.
I know, but it's the opposite. Now, in deposition, I just full on cry. You know why? Because I want my client to know that I'm right there with them.
Well, and it'd make the defense attorney uncomfortable.
It drives them. Well, what are they going to say? Objection.
They can't. That's a great way to screw with them.
I mean, the video's going. It's on the client, not on me. What are they going to let the record reflect that Ms. Koehler is crying?
And you said
So?
just there that you don't care about it anymore.
I don't care.
It's the same for me. I grew up with that.
Yeah.
But now I cry all the time. Like if I'm
Cry
reading
commercials.
like TV commercials.
Yeah.
I cry movies, commercials, books, reading. Like I'll be reading next to Debbie and tears will just be streaming down my face. But part of it seems like since my surgeries, like I'm more sensitive or something. But
Older men too are more like in their 70s and 80s. They get very nostalgic.
And so, I guess
You feel less.
if
of a
I went to
person?
be the male that I was grown up to believe, I wouldn't do that. But I kind of now I'm like, well, what's so wrong about it?
Yeah, how does it feel when you do it? Do you feel like, oh no, I cried?
No. I mean, if Debbie teases me about it sometimes.
Mean Debbie.
Nah, it's just fun teasing. But when she does that, I might be a little self-conscious. But and it's in movies. And usually it's when she's crying too. Like
There you go.
when you're watching a movie and you tear up, she'll look over, see if I'm tearing up, kind of deal. But I don't care anymore.
I don't care.
Like it like I said before, it's a physical response to make you feel better.
Yeah.
What's wrong with that?
So here's the odd thing. Here's an odd thing, right? I am not empathetic compared to Mo. Mo is like, he's like the creature out of Galaxy of the Guardians of the Galaxy. The one with the antennas. That's Mo, right? I am like not that person. However, when I am in trial, when I am in deposition, I intentionally connect to my client. So I am exactly that person. But it's because of what I'm doing. I believe, I talk about it all the time, that I am channeling my client because that's how they are being heard. So it's like I do I call it the Spock mind melt, whatever you want to call it. I don't do it in real life. But when I'm in that work, that is my job, that's my duty, and we are connected. And so if they're crying, I'm going to cry in a deposition, not in trial. Mo, in real life, his little tentacles are out, whether you want them out or not. And he is really, truly empathetic. And he doesn't cry
Well,
in a legal proceeding.
yeah.
So
because
why?
you already said you're not supposed to, and he's a man, so he's trained not to do it.
Okay.
I've been trained not to cry.
But I know that that's not true, because he has blubbered all over me so many times outside of the practice of law
Yes.
that I know he cries, and he's
Yeah,
fine
but
crying.
that's not when
But
there's
he
a bunch of other
won't-
guys around.
I just want to hear this acknowledged. I want to hear it acknowledged.
Well, okay. First of all, I mean, now I go back and think I've cried in courtrooms, but being empathetic in a courtroom is helping create space for the other person to fill the space with what needs to happen. And so I'm very good at directing them through their emotions, and then I get out of my own self. But yeah, no, when the most recent verdict was being read, I was in tears.
That doesn't count. You're not up there performing, which
No.
we do. We have a job to perform. And
Yeah.
in fact, when we were taking the testimony in our sex abuse 50-year-old because I was the one that was super emotional. He was just like Killer Mo. He was just like this.
Yeah.
He was just like, I mean, he was more flat.
I think there's a certain amount of, I guess I don't know what to call it properly, but just thick skin that gets,
His trial
that happens.
persona.
Well, it's, I think for everything that we do, you know, like that case in particular, you had to read about horrible things,
Yeah,
right?
horrible.
And there's other times where I mean, there was a case where I had to listen to somebody get shot 50 times, probably. It was a bunch of times, over and over and over, listening to the audio. You get dead to it after a little while, I hate to say.
Yeah.
But
that's important. Wait, that's important. That's why if you have horrible evidence, you don't do yourself any favor by playing it multiple
no,
times.
you don't, because you're gonna
desensitize.
lose the connection to
You
it.
desensitize, it becomes a norm.
And I think that you guys in trial have to be able to put yourself into those situations. So if you become desensitized, the jury's going to know it.
Yeah.
You know, your poker face that you were talking about, the stoic face. That's not the time for that. I think, at least from you, maybe from the witnesses, maybe from the experts, but not from the attorneys.
Yeah. Good. Very good.
Okay.
Don't cry.